Russia's having one of those things that we have. They're having an election, but it doesn't mean the same over there as it means over here. Well, at least what most people think, anyway. Over there, it's kind of just there's a one guy party over there. The rest of them are not so much. I'm gonna read this article over here. This is global news. Yeah, it's whatever. I don't have a lot to say good about global news, but we'll see what they do here. The Russian election, a chance to show Putin is vulnerable. Navalny camp says Navalny's was one of his staunch was one of his you know I guess you could say competition, but not really. Anyways, with his hands on all levers of power in Russia, Vladimir Putin cannot be beaten in a presidential election. Top aides in jail, the opposition leader Alexei Navalny said. But they see the 100-day campaign as a chance to expose him as vulnerable on the issues that most matter to Russians, the war in Ukraine and the state of the economy. Putin declared his candidacy for another 6-year term on Friday, and there is no serious rival to challenge him, with Navalny serving more than 30 years in a penal colony and other critics also jailed or in exile. With the Kremlin in full control of state media and able to decide who can and cannot run, the Navalny camp says this is not a real election. But it sees the campaign window as a rare opportunity to draw Russians into a political conversation, convince them that Russia's main problems are Putin's making. Of course, it's impossible to beat Putin in the elections, Navalny said, or aide Leonid Volkov told Reuters. The aim of our campaign is to change the political agenda in Russia. They don't really have, I'm going to spread disinformation. They have elections, but realistically, when you have one guy that's been elected for the last 20 plus years, it's kind of you're looking at basically a one party system over there. Um, he has an 80% approval rating, which I don't know if that's real or not. Like, who knows? I mean, it doesn't seem very democratic if the same guy wins all the time. But we're also not used to that because our system has term limits, at least in the U.S. In Canada, here you can pretty much do the same thing. But all right, I'll continue to read here. Putin is vulnerable because he does not have answers today to the questions that that really worry people. These are the questions of an exit strategy for the war, when and how it should end, and when the soldiers should or will return home, and the questions of destitution, poverty, corruption, financial credits, and all the rest. Kremlin says Putin will win another 6-year term because he commands overwhelming support across Russian society, with opinion poll ratings of around 80%. So far, only 3 people have declared their intention to run against him. 2 are low-profile figures: Boris Nadezhdin, I don't know, and Yekaterina Duntsova, Dunts, who may struggle to gather the 300,000 signatures required to support their candidacies. That's hilarious. They can't even really launch it because they can't even get enough support to be a real candidate. That's control. You got some control over there. Good job, Putin. The third nationalist, Igor Girkin, is in jail awaiting trial on a charge of inciting extremist activity. Oh, that sounds familiar. It correlates with a country. I'm not sure which one. Kind of losing the name offhand. It begins with a. I think it begins with a U, but I don't know. Anyways, sounds pretty familiar. Other possible candidates who have yet to declare include communist leader Gennady Zyuganov and liberal Grigory Yavlinsky, both political veterans and serial election losers. I like that. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough for that article. The gist is he's running for re-election. He's just going to be elected. And let's just be real. He's going to be in power until he can no longer be in power, and then someone else I guess, of their choosing, who knows, will just take the reins. That's I don't know if that is a symptom of a very corrupt system over there, or if it's just a symptom of the people. The people they like a certain leader and they just stick with him. I don't know what it is, but it looks corrupt. On the surface, it looks corrupt. Whatever. I guess Russians do what Russians do.